Released back in 2016, the iPhone 7 is still up to date when it comes to software support, and there are actually many indications and rumors that this phone will get iOS 15, which will make this phone valid in 2021 as well as in 2022, making it overall a decent choice. But even the latest software updates were not able to save old iPhone 4S, simply because the hardware there was just too slow for the times. So, is it the case with iPhone 7? Well, actually, no, I'm gonna tell you straight up, it's actually not the case when it comes to iPhone 7. But there are actually other things that you have to really know about this phone if you are interested in picking this up in 2021, and that is why I'm making this video, because I did a review a couple of months ago, very detailed review about iPhone 7, told specifically things that I liked about this phone and whether it was still worth at the time, and this review is still extremely valid when it comes to the current times in 2021, so I'll link that in the description. But in this video, I want to focus on a couple of users' things, on more users' perspective about this phone and the things that you have to know if you want to pick this device up in 2021. Because there are some things that will actually surprise you positively or negatively. So I want to emphasize those things, and after that, you can make an educated choice whether you want this device or not in 2021. So I want to start off fast with the things that you may actually not like about this phone, so you will know if these are some deal breakers for you, or maybe you can accept them and actually pick this phone up despite these flaws that may actually not be bothersome to you at all. And the first thing that I gotta mention is obviously the battery life. I mean, it's actually pretty bad. You can see the percentages literally falling off like no matter what you do. So for example, if we check my battery stats, you will see that actually the screen on time is not great. Here it's less than 50%, 154, because I was using the phone while charging, so probably the chart here is a little bit misleading. But for example here, 127 and about 40% used. So it's really bad when it comes to the battery life, and it's not even about the battery health. Since I have 96% capacity, so most phones that you're gonna pick up, they are gonna probably have even less. So the battery life is definitely the thing that you have to be careful when choosing this phone, because the percentages will literally fall off like no matter what you are doing. And if you are jumping between tasks, you know, between web, messenger and stuff like that, it's actually gonna drop even quicker. So it's definitely not the way to go. I did a video how you can maintain 100% capacity, but honestly here it's just pretty hard to do, since like the phone just drops quickly because the overall physical capacity of the battery is just weak. So that's the problem. It's not the worst it can be. It's similar to iPhone SE 2020, maybe a little bit worse, maybe around that, but you have to be aware of that the battery life is not gonna be great if you decide to pick this phone up. Another thing that I don't like is the overall storage of this phone. I mean, it's pretty poor. The base configuration is 32 gigabytes, so if you decide to pick this one up, make sure to get at least like 128 version, because 32, at least for me, it's definitely not enough. If you are planning to take some photos, videos, maybe install some apps, it's just not gonna be enough. Like, I used to play a couple of games on this phone, but right now with the storage it's actually impossible. I have to use quite frequently the feature called uninstall offload apps or something like that. So basically what it does, it just basically deletes the app while you still have it on your home screen. All the data is saved, but if you want to use it, you have to download it again, simply because the overall storage is just not enough here. So definitely make sure to get at least 128 if you are going for this phone, unless you just use it only for social media and you depend heavily on iCloud. But do remember that it has a lot of downsides, since you have to always be connected to the internet and sometimes the connection may not be the best. So take that into consideration as well. Another thing I want to talk about is the camera. It's not necessarily the downside of this phone, but I want you to know that this is not the greatest camera you can get. When it comes to the video quality, it's actually pretty good. I mean, it's up to 4K 30 frames per second, and the overall video quality, just like in other iPhones, is pretty decent, so I don't think you will complain too much about it. But when it comes to photos, a lot of features are missing, like for example, smart HDR, night mode, and things like that. We also have only one lens, so you're not gonna have telephoto zoom, great zoom, you just have some type of digital zoom that's not gonna be the greatest. And overall, the camera quality is okay if you just want to take some occasional photos from some holiday or some trip or something. But other than that, it's not gonna be the best camera that you may use. As I said, it's gonna be okay for some Instagram edits and stuff. If you just tune some colors and contrast in Photoshop, it's gonna be okay. But other than that, I wouldn't expect to be a terrific camera for some specific use cases that you would wanna. The thing that is fairly decent here is the performance. Overall, it's pretty good. On iOS 14.3, the phone performs pretty decently. It doesn't stutter too much. There are occasional lags that happen, but overall, they are probably because of the software, not necessarily the performance. The performance is still pretty good, and to prove that, I'm gonna redo my gaming test of iPhone 7, so you may wanna subscribe for that. But from what I can tell you right now, is that the performance is still pretty good. One thing that is quite maybe bothersome for some people, is the overall heat that the phone produces while just switching between tasks and overall using many apps at once, because the iOS 14.3 just puts more strain than iOS 13 used to, so you have to take that into consideration. But overall, the performance of this phone is still pretty good, and I wouldn't complain necessarily, not for the price you are getting. The performance is good, and the RAM management and things like that are actually pretty decent, so this phone is doing still pretty well in that department. Another thing is the audio here. And honestly, like no matter what other people are saying, I like the audio here. It's the first iPhone that gives you stereo speakers. It was the first iPhone to give you stereo speakers, and they are actually pretty good even after 4.5 years. When you're watching some TV series or Netflix or something like that, it's really gonna produce pretty okay sound, and you can always use some Bluetooth headphones since you don't have headphone jack here, but that probably you already know. So no complaints when it comes to audio. One thing that I do have to state is that this top speaker is producing really bad sound when it comes to calling. So over the years, it has been getting a little bit worse and worse every time, and the phone call quality is not good anymore, just like the overall reception. What I like particularly about this phone is the display. It's a standard LCD Retina display, but honestly, I really like the colors it produces even in 2021. Like we have all these OLED XDR displays, but this standard LCD display with P3 color gamut is still pretty okay. It doesn't flicker, it doesn't bother your eyes, it just produces some natural colors, decently sharp images that you will actually like, and I never had troubles with these displays. Of course, blacks are not gonna be great because this is an LCD panel, but other than that, I really like the display and it's not gonna be bothersome for your eyes. Also, the size is pretty small, but you basically know what you are getting if you are picking this phone up. But other than that, I really like this phone, so I have no complaints whatsoever when it comes to the image quality. So, to answer the question, is iPhone 7 still worth picking up in 2021? Hell yeah! I mean, I was a little bit harsh on this phone simply because I wanted to show you some flaws that this phone definitely has because of the age. But overall, this is the oldest iPhone that I can recommend for you buying, simply because I think that 6S is not that worth anymore, and 7 just brought a couple of great improvements that actually make this phone still worth in 2021 despite it getting a little bit old. But it's not getting as old as you would think, because the best thing is that it's still getting the newest software updates and it's gonna get it for quite some time. So it's definitely a great thing that in such a cheap and old phone you still have the same software features and updates that you would have on iPhone 12 Pro Max, for example. Of course, the software and overall hardware is not identical simply because of the hardware limitations, but it still feels pretty modern because of the iPhone SE 2020 and doesn't feel too outdated. So if you want to get into iOS ecosystem, maybe this will be the way to go, and maybe you will actually enjoy this phone, provided that you actually can accept the flaws that this phone definitely has, probably because of its age. But if you can accept those, it's definitely pretty decent phone for you for the price you are paying. So that will be this in this video. I hope you are all doing well. Make sure to press the like button if you actually enjoyed this video. Subscribe for content like that and much more. And once more, be sure to be well. Until next time, and peace.